Alright guys, well I'm sorry about being kind of delaying this for the last 2 days. I've been kind of backed up on other things. I had some stuff come up in the middle of this week that I didn't get a chance to come around to do these reviews for NXT and AEW. I will be releasing 2 videos here tonight, so expect AEW first, since that was the first show I watched. I will be honest with you, AEW was the better show compared to NXT in the overall presentation. Regardless of my comment there, both shows were very entertaining. AEW knocked it out of the park for a go-home show. I did not find this show to be at all dull or boring whatsoever. Outside of the women's matchup, which I'm not very impressed with the women's wrestling division in AEW, this show is very solid. Great stuff overall, and very fun to watch. Especially the ending to this show. This was fucking excellent. It was definitely out of the box type of go home show that everybody should be looking for in a wrestling program. Most definitely. Overall, we had a great promo by Cody Rhodes, which we'll go into in just a moment. So let's get this show started, shall we? Let's go ahead and get right into things. We had Trent Beretta versus Pac in a one-on-one matchup. This matchup was superb. Very great way to open up the show, despite the fact the ending. The ending was the major issue to the show, or to this matchup anyway. The ending to this matchup is he hits the Black Arrow Pac, and then Pac pins him and should have gotten a 3, and the referee did not count to 3. You'd have think that the referee was trying to screw over Pac in this match, and he wasn't. It was meant to be that way, which I don't understand why. Just so he could put in a fucking Rings of Saturn on fucking Trent Beretta to make him submit? Why? The Black Arrow is one of the best movies he's ever had in his whole career. That's the move that he started off with as his finishing maneuver. So, for them to do that, it just weakened the fucking Black Arrow move altogether. Overall, though, the work that both of these guys performed together was excellent. Very good way to open the show. Highly recommend the matchup, except for the ending. The ending sucked. I thought that was the biggest load of garbage going. From there, Pac gets on a mic and tells the crowd to shut their mouths. He says he heard what Adam Page said, but it won't make any difference on Saturday at Full Gear. Pac says he's going to make an example of Page again. He also goes on to mention, and I thought this was very funny, that he mentions last week Adam Page went on a tangent with me about me, and he said a naughty word, a dirty word. And he says he's going to make him eat that stuff, or eat his words that he made, the comments that he made last week. And he's going to kick his ass. And that was pretty much it. Very solid. Straight to the point. No, bullshit. And that was it. Then we get the best promo I think I've ever heard Cody Rhodes ever make in his entire career. This was superb promo that, Jon Moxley made a good promo last week. Or the week before, I don't even remember which fucking... Oh, it was last week, yeah. I thought it was 2 weeks ago or something. Anyway, that was a great promo by Jon Moxley last week. This week, man, Cody stepped it up even a step higher. This was a superb promo that was straight from the heart, meaningful, and my God, was making him to the point of crying. I couldn't believe the promo he brought out in this. Cody heads out to the ring for his announcement. Tony Schiavone's in the ring to speak with him. He talks about Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle causing havoc all over the last couple of weeks, but it wasn't surprising to him. The Elite was looking for some of the best competitors to bring in the company. Cody then rattles off some of the greats of the past, including Dusty Rhodes. Cody notes that some of the biggest names in wrestling were wrestlers, but also management. He says AEW is an island for wrestling. It's basically freedom. Cody says he's heard of the criticism of being in management and in a title match at the same time, and he gets it. So he goes on, and Cody announces if he doesn't defeat Chris Jericho at Full Gear, he will never challenge for the AEW World Championship again. Cody goes on to say he heard Jericho calling him a millennial bitch and someone who grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. Cody notes that Jericho grew up with a similar childhood and calls him a stupid dick. Yes, those words came out of Cody Rhodes' mouth, which I thought was fucking awesome. I thought it was funny as hell when he called him a stupid dick. Which is very true. What he said and, stated he's a millennial bitch and he's got a silver spoon in his mouth. Jericho didn't have much of a rough childhood. I mean, his childhood was pretty average and normal. He tells Jericho he needs this generation more than it needs Jericho. I don't know about that. I really don't. I'm mixed on that, really, to be honest with you, with that comment. Because without Jericho, I don't think AEW would bring as much eyes to the product as they would if Jericho wasn't part of this program. Jericho brings out a lot. He has done a lot of work in making this company mean something. He has brought out the best in himself as well. He is probably portraying the best character he has ever portrayed in his career. And he has had some really decent characters in his career, but this one is by far the greatest heel character I have ever seen him portray in his entire career. Unbelievable work by Jericho, but, I mean, Cody could be right about that comment, but I'm going to say I'm mixed. I'm a little bit kind of on the fence with that comment, whether or not he's right about that or wrong. But at the end of the day, Jericho brings a lot to the table for AEW, and it brings a lot to this company's attention when it comes to viewership and so on and so forth. So Jericho's done a great job in that aspect, and just my opinion. Then he says it's taken him 14 years to get to this point, and he won't be discredited by Jericho's claims. I went from undesirable to undeniable. And that is a very true statement. This guy went from WWE to not being cared about whatsoever. No one had given a flying shit about this guy. And now when he went out on his own, he became a fucking name. This guy has built his brand off his name big time. So he is definitely a guy that deserves to one day be world champion. He's definitely going to be world champion now with that comment that he made about the title. If he doesn't win it, he's going to go ahead and just never challenge for the title again. Now, this isn't a no disqualification match. Jericho could get disqualified and Cody Rhodes could win and still keep the title on Jericho. So there's that other option that could play into this whole matchup. If that's the case, I don't want to see this championship match as the main event. I'd rather see Kenny Omega versus John Moxley. Kenny Omega and John Moxley in this lights out unsanctioned match. I would rather see as the main event if the World Championship is going to go down that way like I just predicted. So, if there's any way they're going to keep the title on Jericho and still have Cody be a champion contender, an actual contender for the title, that's the best way to do it. Unfortunately, it's a way of ending the match in a crappy manner. So, I don't know if I like that or I don't, but I don't want to see the title really get off Jericho just yet. I think Jericho deserves to stay champion for a little bit longer. Maybe around like January, then you take the title off of him and put it on somebody like Kenny Omega or something like that. That's just my overall viewpoint on this. Then we get Private Party versus Dark Order. The winner gets a title shot at Full Gear in a triple threat tag team championship match with the SCU and the Lucha Brothers. This matchup itself was actually good. Probably the best match Dark Order has ever had so far in this company. At least in my opinion. Private Party actually do pick up the victory here. Definitely a watchable matchup that you should definitely catch. If you haven't seen the show, it was a lot of fun to watch. Great action overall. We go ahead and JR says there's a video that was sent by the Inner Circle that nobody actually viewed yet, so they allowed everyone to see it. Excuse me. So, it's AEW World Champion Chris Jericho sitting in a room alone. Guevara asks him which kind of bubbly he wants. Cut to Jericho hanging in a tub and drinking some bubbly. We then see Virgil, a.k.a. Soul Train Jones, praise Chris Jericho. Guevara says Jericho is in the prime of his life and the youngest AEW World Champion in its history. This whole video package of Chris Jericho is a mocking of Cody Rhodes from a couple of weeks back when they displayed Cody Rhodes saying this is the biggest match of my career, so on and so forth. This is just a total parody to that, mocking Cody Rhodes and being absolutely funny in a heel dick-like move by Jericho and his group, the Inner Circle. Very funny. Jake Hager is interviewed, but he doesn't say a word. He just stares at the camera the whole entire time throughout this entire video package. Completely, utterly funny. And Jake Hager was probably the funniest because he didn't say a fucking word. And it was just funny just seeing him not say anything while the entire group was making unbelievable comments that were downright hilarious. Not to mention the old lady had some comments to say about Chris Jericho and what she hopes for Jericho to do to Cody Rhodes at Full Gear, which was very funny. So Jericho says it's tough to get up every morning and realize how great he is. Virgil says Jericho's talent is like Olive Garden breadsticks, unlimited. Jericho drops the little bit of the bubbly line and gets a big pop from the crowd. So during the, so at that point, they also, hold on. They also get a older lady who's actually a neighbor of Chris Jericho's when he was a kid, saying that Jericho is a great kid. He was a great kid growing up. He's an outstanding wrestler, and she really hopes that he kicks Cody Rhodes' ass or kicks the shit out of Cody Rhodes and retains the title. I thought that was a very funny comment made by that actress in this whole entire thing. I thought that was fucking great. So great promo video and comedy act by the Inner Circle altogether based on this. So very funny stuff. Jamie Hader, Hatter or whatever her last name is, and Sakura facing Riho and Shanna. Riho and Sakura get things started. Lots of fast-paced back-and-forth action. Sakura drops Riho and taunts her a bit. This matchup really was not all that interesting to me. I apologize If I don't seem interested, maybe others have a difference of opinion, and if you do, that's perfectly fine. I just do not like the AEW women's division so much. I'm more of an NXT women's division type of person. I think that they have the better stacked wrestling for females in their division than the AEW does. But Sakura and Jamie Hader, or whatever her last name is, they actually win this match by pinfall. Nothing big happened here. We then get a video package of Brandy Rhodes as she sips on some wine. Brandy says she worked so hard to get where she's at, but constantly gets dismissed for just being Cody's wife and not being good enough. Flashes of Awesome Kong shows up across the screen, and Brandy says Kong's body and her brain, they can rip through anyone. Brandy says they can't be stopped and wonders who are the bullies now. I don't quite understand this character that she's portraying on AEW. I don't know what she's supposed to be or why she's turned heel even, for that matter. I don't know what the fuck this whole gimmick is, but it really doesn't work in my opinion. And it doesn't add up either with her and Cody being together as a couple, and a married couple, and yet one's a good guy, the other one's a heel-like character. It's kind of weird. Not something I guess I'm used to when it comes to the way WWE does things, but then again, WWE doesn't do anything properly or anything entertaining. We then get Brandon Cutler versus Shawn Spears. This matchup was very short, straight to the point. Shawn Spears looked fantastic in this. And the match really ends very quickly. He delivers a Death Valley driver to Brandon Spears by Brandon Cutler. Shawn Spears delivers the Death Valley driver and covers him for the 1-2-3. And that's it. Very short match. Probably the shortest match, I think, in AEW's television programming. After the match, Tully slides in a chair. Spears looks to drop Cutler on it, and Joey Janela runs out to the ring and chases him away. Janela takes the chair, throws it at Spears. Spears grabs it and goes to the ring, but Tully holds him back. Janela yells at Spears to come to the ring. And that's basically it. We see clips of last week's Jon Moxley's promo where he was not happy about his match against Kenny Omega being an unsanctioned match. The results won't count towards either wrestler's win or loss record. Cut to Omega saying Moxley isn't really that mad about a hardcore match. What was he going to do? Train wrestle him? Moxley says he isn't looking for an opponent to bring the best out of him. He's looking for someone to bring the worst out of him because he does the best when he's at his worst. Omega says he's glad to go to this dark place and can't wait to see Moxley there. And that was pretty much all you wrote on that promo. The main event was Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. This match was a pretty solid, okay matchup. Nothing to cry home about, to be honest with you. It was just a simple tag team matchup with slight interferences and distractions that occurred in this matchup. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I expected everyone that was involved on this pay-per-view card to be in the main event in some capacity, at least after the match was over. Jericho and Sammy Guevara actually pick up the victory here, thanks to the low blow to Adam Hangman Page, I believe it was. Yeah, right? Yeah, he hits the Judas effects on Page, gets to 1, 2, 3, and Jericho and Sammy Guevara actually pick up the pinfall. After the match, the Inner Circle beats up on Page some more. Cody runs out to get Jericho, but he gets away. Cody pops Guevara through Guevara though, and turns his attention back to Jericho. The two yell at each other as Jericho and Hager make their way up the ramp. MJF runs out and hits a chair shot on Hager's back, and then hits Jericho in the gut and sends him back in the ring. Cody hits Crossroads on the champ, and Omega rolls into the ring while Cody grabs the title and holds it up. Very nice image, by the way, seeing Cody Rhodes hold the AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley comes out to the ring though through the crowd with a barbed wire bat. At that point, Moxley gets in the ring to face off with Omega while Cody looks on. Jericho then attacks Cody from behind and dumps him out of the ring. Omega backs off as Cody and Jericho, Hager, and MJF fight on the ramp. Omega then comes back in the ring with a barbed wire broom. The two look to battle, but Santana Ortiz run in, knocking Moxley into Omega. The two beat on Omega and Moxley for a moment, but the Young Bucks run down and super kick the two of them out of the ring. They hit stereo suicide dives and battle up to the ramp. Matt then almost gets power bombed off the stage, but Omega hits a V trigger on Ortiz. Moxley then hits a DDT to Santana, and Moxley and Omega then start fighting each other to the back. Inner Circle and the Elite swinging all the way as Nick Jackson heads to the top of the entrance circle set and hits a senton down on everyone, and the crowd goes holy shit as the Inner Circle retreat back towards the ring while the Elite bark at them. Matt ends up charging down and everyone starts fighting again as the show closes. Like I mentioned before, a very great way to close out this show. Most importantly, it gets you hyped up for this pay-per-view. Everyone involved in this pay-per-view card was highlighted at the end of this show in one way or another. We got a great triple threat tag team matchup that's going to occur. We got another good tag team matchup with Santana and Ortiz versus the Young Bucks. We got a world championship match. It's got a lot of hype behind it. Hopefully it delivers on its hype, which I believe it will. The Lights Out match is outstanding. It could lead to a heel turn on Jon Moxley, which I won't have a problem with. Based on the character gimmick that he's providing, it definitely seems like he's going to have that kind of direction anyway to begin with. What else? Adam Hangman Page and Pac. That's going to be a great match. I cannot wait to watch that match. I think that match is going to be one of the better matches on the card. So, a lot of good stuff coming out of this pay-per-view that we can look forward to watching. And I really hope that this pay-per-view is a fucking 5-star classic, which I don't see why it can't be. Bottom line, this is going to be a fun show to watch. Definitely Saturday night. It's going to be a fun pay-per-view. I'm not going to be able to watch it live. I'm going to have to watch it after the show goes off the air and watch it online somehow. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream it because I don't think I'm going to be able to get a capability of doing that. So if anything, I will be watching this Sunday morning on Watch Wrestling. And there is a New Japan Wrestling Super Show that's going to be occurring in San Jose, California, that I will be able to watch on New Japan World. So I may definitely be reviewing that and provide you that video the same night. The event starts at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so I will definitely give you guys that review as soon as I can get done with that event, as well as do the AEW Full Gear event. Anyway, guys, at this time, I am done with this video. I will be uploading a new video of NXT from November 6th and giving you guys my opinion and overall thoughts on the entire show in its entirety. So I thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below and I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you very, very much for watching. And stay tuned for NXT review as well. Thank you. Bye.